This is one of our toughest weekends of wheeling yet. We break a winch before we even get to the track. We end up doing road clearances and tons of tough challenges. We almost break the Isuzu Dmax. So join us on Nanty Banner Lane, one of Monmouthshire's toughest tracks. We've got Lara behind the wheel of the mighty Duster, and I'm driving the big old Dmax. Before we get started, we drop our tyre pressures down to 20 psi using the ARB Easy Deflator, which is a must-have bit of kit for anyone who loves a bit of off-roading and green laning. After doing a couple of pre-trip health checks on the trucks, we thought we'd test the winch. This is where our problems started. The free spool was working alright, but when we came to pull it back in, there was just no power getting to the motor. We could hear the solenoid engaging, but the motor just wasn't getting started. We tried to check all the cable, but it's so tight to get in there, couldn't really do a lot. In the end, we decided to disconnect the winch, spool it back up and leave it in the truck for the rest of the trip. One winch down, it's not going well. Last time we did this track, we used the winch a couple of times in the Duster, but we were on our own. This time we've got the Dmax with us, so the plan is the Dmax will go in the front and be able to pull the Duster forward if needed. And hopefully the Duster will be able to pull the Dmax back if it gets into a sticky situation. Right, wing mirrors in and this window up. The track starts off really narrow and there's been some serious growth this summer. I don't think many people have been driving this track, and it was scratching against the truck so much it was uncomfortable. Halfway through this section we had to stop because I couldn't actually get the truck any further without causing some serious damage. We did a bit of road clearance which made it much easier to get through. There's a couple of parts on this first section that are truly off camber. I was really worried the truck might tip down, and there's quite a bank on the one side, so I was worried that it could all go wrong right at the start. Particularly not having the winch was a serious concern here. First, the more serious challenges is getting up this embankment on the right hand side. Such a narrow strip that I was quite worried the Dmax was going to end up being down the left hand side of it, but it made it up through and it scratched the underside of the bumper only a tiny bit. It wasn't too bad. The little Duster, on the other hand, did struggle with the approach angle on this, but Lara was quick on the throttle and got it through. The next challenge is at the bottom of this lane. It's a dried out creek bed. As you can see, it's not a massively serious challenge. I think if you were coming hit through here with something with solid axles, it'd be no issue at all. But with the independent suspension vehicles, it makes it much more difficult. And without diff lock, really struggling to get any traction. Both cars made it through here, and I was really impressed with the two of them. Both of these vehicles are surprisingly stock. The Duster's had a 2-inch lift and mud tyres added, and obviously it's got its winch bumper. The Dmax has also had a 2-inch lift, and I've dropped the tyres to a 16-inch rim, so I've got more rubber, but that's about it. In the future, we are looking to modify these a bit more to make them far more capable, but at the moment, for these kind of tracks, we don't need much more. The third challenge is right at the bottom of the valley. I was hoping to straddle both wheels up on the banks either side. Unfortunately, I didn't have my wheel placement quite right, and I came crashing down. Thankfully, the truck didn't sustain any major damage, The tracking's been pushed out a bit, but that's about it. Getting out of this section is also surprisingly difficult, particularly without a diff lock. Your front driver's side and your passenger rear are both much higher than the other two wheels, and they're really struggling to get traction. Having a diff lock in this situation would have just meant we'd cruise straight out. Coming into this section is really nerve-wracking in the Duster, because it's got such a short wheelbase. Coming in at such an angle, it feels like the car could tip over any moment now. But having Lara behind the wheel, she was calm and controlled and got the Duster through, no problem at all. After watching me come crashing down, she decided not to straddle the banks either, and opted for the safer route of going straight into the ditch. A seriously off-camber section, but so much fun. Coming out of this section, the Duster struggled about as much as the Dmax did, with the two wheels being in the air and not having diff lock. There's also a good number of low-hanging trees on this track, so it's worth keeping an eye out, because you could end up taking your roof tent off if you'd had one on. The final challenge is this steep hill here. In winter, it is horrendous trying to get up here. It's so muddy and boggy. There's also polished stone underneath the mud, so if you're coming later in the season and it's all been wiped back, you struggle to get any grip at all coming up here. Thankfully, it's the middle of summer, it's lovely and dry, and we just called straight up it, no issues at all. After escaping Nanty Banner Lane, we thought we'd head up to Wentwood and go and have a little bit of fun up there. There's a good couple of floods and some gravel tracks that are really nice and scenic. It's worth exploring if you're ever up this way. Hope you've really enjoyed this video. Please leave us a comment if there's somewhere you'd like us to explore next, or if there's something you'd like us to look at in the future. And please subscribe so you don't miss any of our future episodes.